I'll never forget the way she smiled at me. Backwards. I still wake up in the dead of night, my heart racing, with the image of Nurse Rachel's twisted grin etched into my mind, like a branding iron. It's been years since that fateful night shift in the ICU, but the memories remain as vivid as ever. I'm not sure what was more disturbing, the fact that she seemed to know exactly what was going on inside my head, or the way she'd whisper my name, her voice like a cold breeze on a winter night. I was in the hospital for a routine surgery, and everything seemed normal until the night shift. Rachel was the nurse assigned to my room, and at first, she seemed like any other medical professional, friendly, efficient, and caring. But as the hours crept by, I started to notice strange things. She'd make these off comments, like she was reading my thoughts. When I mentioned my favorite book, she'd nod and say, "I know you love Hemingway." It was unnerving, but I brushed it off as small talk. Then there were the medication changes. She'd come in, adjust my IV, and whisper something under her breath. I'd ask her what she said, and she'd just smile and tell me it was nothing important. But I knew what I heard. It sounded like my name, my full name. The one only my closest family members use. One particular incident still makes my skin crawl. I was feeling anxious, and Rachel came in to calm me down. She held my hand, and I felt this jolt, like she'd somehow synchronized her heartbeat with mine. I pulled my hand away, and she just laughed. A low, throaty sound that sent shivers down my spine. The most unsettling part, though, was when she smiled at me, backwards. Her face would be turned away, and I'd catch a glimpse of her profile in the mirror or a reflection. And she'd be smiling, her lips curled up in this grotesque, exaggerated way. It was like she knew I was watching her, even when she wasn't looking directly at me. As the night wore on, I became more and more convinced that Rachel wasn't just a nurse. She was something else entirely, something that didn't belong in this world. I tried to alert the other nurses, but they'd just pat me on the shoulder and tell me I was fine. They didn't seem to notice anything out of the ordinary, but I knew what I saw. When the day shift arrived, Rachel was gone. The new nurse seemed normal, but I knew something was off. I asked to see the security footage, and that's when things got really strange. The hospital claimed there was no record of a Nurse Rachel working that night shift. No record of her ID badge, her name, or her face. It was as if she'd never existed. I was left with more questions than answers. Who was Rachel, really? What did she want from me? And why did she seem to know so much about me? The experience has left an indelible mark on my psyche, and I've tried to move on, to convince myself it was just paranoia or the medication playing tricks on my mind. But deep down, I know what I saw. I know what I felt, and sometimes in the dead of night, I still hear that whisper, my name, spoken in a voice that's both familiar and yet utterly alien. When that happens, I know I'm not alone. Rachel's still out there, watching, waiting, smiling. I've tried to talk to others about it, but they just dismiss me as a paranoid patient. They don't understand. They don't know what it's like to be trapped in a living hell with no escape. But I'll never forget that night, and I'll never forget Rachel's smile. The darkness seems to be closing in around me, and I can feel Rachel's presence getting closer. I'll never be able to escape the night shift nightmare. It's a part of me now, a constant reminder of the horrors that lurk in the shadows of the hospital, and I'll be forever trapped in this living hell, haunted by the sinister smile of Nurse Rachel. Even now, as I sit in the darkness, I can feel her eyes on me, watching me, waiting for me, and I know that I'll never be able to shake off the feeling of being watched, of being haunted by Rachel's twisted grin. The night shift nightmare has left an indelible mark on my psyche, and I'll carry it with me for the rest of my life.